Now, the nerves are also composed of the same kind of interior structures as mentioned earlier in this chapter, around, or rather from which, the physical nerves form. Here, the exterior data is translated and broken down into inner terms. That is, it is decoded in terms of the internal sound, light, and electromagnetic patterns discussed before. It then becomes usable information, even in terms of the atoms and molecules that compose the cells. The physical lapse that occurs between an incoming message and its intended destination does not occur on these other levels. The interior message gets to its destination ahead of the physical one. By the time the organism responds, the inner patterns have already reacted, and this must and always does precede any physical response to stimuli. Therefore, the invisible body pattern, composed of its interior light, sound, and electromagnetic properties, reacts first, and actually initiates the later physical response. There is always this translation of exterior stimuli. The perceived lapse, noted by scientists, is, of course, the physical one caused by the time it takes the message to leap the nerve endings. The interior translation, however, is simultaneous. Now, returning your mind to the situation of the near accident, that event with the car, its driver, and your own precarious position exists as another structure beside the one that you physically see. It also, the event, exists in terms mentioned earlier in a reality composed of invisible light, inaudible sound, and electromagnetic patterns. Consciously, you react to the physical data, the noise, the squeal of the brakes perhaps, the visual shock of seeing the car so close. But the entire inner reality of that scene or event is instantly recognized by what I refer to as your inner senses. These respond to the interior patterns I've told you about. The physical data is carried through the nerves with the necessary time lapses that must occur. These represent the temporal end of the spectrum of perception. Because you are flesh and blood creatures, the interior aspects of perception must have their physical counterparts. But material awareness and bodily response to it would be impossible were it not for these internal webworks. Now, before you see anything physically, you do so through these inner pathways. The interior perception activates the outside one. When you experience physical motion or activity, events, or phenomena, you are becoming aware of the tail end of a long series of interior comprehensions. I am saying that all exterior events, including your own bodies with their insides, all objects, all physical materializations, are the outside structures of the inside ones that are composed of interior sound and invisible light interwoven in electromagnetic patterns. Beneath temporal perception, then, each object and event exist in these terms and patterns that interact with each other. On a physical level, you seem to be separated from everything that is not yourself. This is not true, but in your day-to-day existence, it seems to be, and it is an assumption that you usually take for granted. On the interior level of which I've been speaking, all happenings and objects are connected. If movement or change in one affects others, you will physically respond to and recognize some of this alteration as an example of the near accident, but whether or not you are consciously aware of such activity, it changes the interior environment of your body through these inner pathways. Your own thoughts and beliefs, having the same kind of inner reality, also transform the interior environment of others. The near accident mentioned was a physical event, but it was initially a mental one. It existed in this non-temporal reality then, before, in your terms, it was physically materialized, perceived, and reacted to. It was propelled from inner reality to outward reality through belief, emotion, and imagination. Because you cannot see them, it may seem to you that these qualities are not real, say as an object. Physically, you can only see the results of an emotion, for instance. You cannot hold it in your hands as you can a stone. Ideas represent your psychic intent. They generate emotion and imagination. These activate the interior patterns. They are the motive force of action, the means by which all interior events are exteriorized. They are energy formed and directed, formulations of interior and exterior patterns of reality. They are a part of the creative force from which all realities spring. Again, we run into difficulties in explanation simply because there are a few verbal equivalents for what I'm trying to say. Imagination and emotions are the most concentrated forms of energy that you possess as physical creatures. Any strong emotion carries within it far more energy than, say, that required to send a rocket to the moon. Emotions, instead of propelling a physical rocket, for example, send thoughts from this interior reality through the barrier between non-physical and physical into the objective world. No small feat, and one that is constantly repeated. This marks the end of Seth Speaks, The Nature of Personal Reality, Chapter 5, and this is our Part 7. Let's talk about it. So, in this excerpt, Seth delves into the interconnectedness of interior and exterior realities, emphasizing the role of inner perceptions in shaping our responses to external stimuli. He discusses how our inner senses react instantaneously to events on a non-temporal level, preceding our physical reactions. Seth suggests that all exterior events are manifestations of interior patterns composed of sound, light, and electromagnetic properties. Seth highlights the transformative power of thoughts, the transformative power of beliefs, and of course emotions, which serve as the driving force behind the materialization of events from the inner to the outer reality. If you've enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, sharing with a friend, and of course, subscribing for more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. What did you think about this particular reading? Please leave it in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. And until the next time, thank you.